The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is a really important topic in these days. We are team number 5 and we're gonna talk about it. We're confirmed by Alison, Aranza, Eugenio, Jos, y Gonzalo. About Ukraine, political, access buffer state to Russia, but these countries to join NATO, economical and military, Ukraine is defending itself from Russia, which is invading said country. About the United States of America, political, it sends its influence all the way to Russia border. Economical, sell weapons to Ukraine, therefore making profit with the MIC. Military, place strategic bases in Ukraine, being able to target Moscow in case of an attack. About Russia. Political. Stop NATO's advance into Russia borders, keeping them west of Ukraine. Economical. Gaining an entry directly into the Black Sea in order to have warm water port. The one in Ukraine is located in Crimea, being the Sevastopol port. Military. Denazification and demilitarize Ukraine and take control of Kiev in order to put pro-Moscow government here. Next is Eugenio.
Un poquito más.
Y Russia.
This topic is relevant because it shows how the national interest of a country can make them use their powers and against other countries to achieve their goal. Also, this is important due to the shape that the world will have after this country, because we will see if the national interest of the countries change or remains as they are. Economically speaking, Ukraine represents a crucial role in the agricultural market, specifically in the wheat industry, due to where the Ukrainians have stopped producing all these products such as wheat, corn, and beans, affecting the world's economy, affecting territories such as Africa, Europe, Middle East, and Asia, provoking a famine to the population of said lands. The exportation of those products have been reduced up to 3%, and the price has reached a 40% increase, which represents how it affects us all. Another problem comes due to the energy, but this topic will be presented by Ara.
Another problem comes due to the energy. Russia is the main provider of gas and petrol to Europe, but the USA, due to the invasion, inflicted economical restrictions to Russia. They made a little blockade. No NATO countries could commerce with them. This was not only prejudicial for Russia, but as well for all of the European continent, creating a lack of energy all over it, especially in Germany. They will have to buy from US. Many would think this would be a negative thing for Russia, but with less gas and petrol to buy in Europe, the prices go up due to the European countries that want to buy from Russia have to do it in their terms. So in reality, they're making a profit from the war. Geopolitically, this conflict is huge. First of all, this divides the world into two, the Russian side and the North American side. This bipolar world comes in a different context. It's no longer a Cold War, it's a hot one. There is a breaking of international laws and armed conflicts with USA and Russia directly involved. This also comes with a world threat and fear of the World War III, a war like no other, like a much deadlier outcome with the presence of nuclear force. And now Science is going to speak next.
Now I will introduce you to the USA interest in the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Politically speaking, the objective of the United States of America is to expand its political reach all over Europe, especially in the western part of the Russian border, because it's a strategic point for the control of all Europe. Now, if you want to talk about economics, an important aspect is the selling of weapons to Ukraine, which is beneficial for the military industrial complex. This industry is the core of the USA's economy since the start of the 20th century, and now is the biggest expender over China by 500 million margin. This has been used by the USA to profit when a war or revolution occurs in other parts of the world, with the business of selling one-side weapons. Now, militarily, this country's purpose is getting closer to the Russian border, something that was promised that wouldn't happen. To place military bases, so this would bother Russia, because it would be like having your enemy in your backyard, wanting to attack you the house every time. In this case, it's Moscow. An example is what happened during the Cold War, because the USSR put nuclear missiles in Cuba. Now, my friend Gonzalo will talk.
Thank you very much, Science. Now let's go to the Russian side of the story. First of all, the political interest. They want to stop the process of NATO expanding further east. NATO wants to join Ukraine to their organization, which will mean they will be able to put military armament, nuclear missiles, and soldiers 600 kilometers away from the Russia's capital, Moscow. This will be a very big threat for the motherland. Then, the economic side of the story. Russia is desperate for a warm water port. They really need it as every global superpower, so they have a clear entrance to the sea trade lanes, so they can go and commerce with every single part of the world. The problem with Russia is that the Arctic Sea is frozen 6 months a year. It's not possible to have port there. And then they can go through the Baltic Sea because Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania are NATO. They don't let them through there. So Ukraine has Sevastopol in the peninsula of Crimea. Russia right now is paying Ukraine to use it, but they don't want to pay anymore. That's one of the interests of Russia, of the invasion. And last but not least, the military interest. The objective of the military of Putin is to protect ethical Russians from the Nazification and the militarization of the Zelensky regime. This is not the main objective, but it's a very important one due to the story the Russians had with the Nazis. But the real objective is to keep NATO out of Russia's borders. They want to keep them far away, so this is a message to NATO. They cannot be any closer.
We think that with the video delivery we must do in this case study, we could upload it to all possible media to make our informative video go viral, getting the information to the hands of all people. Contrary to that, the news says evading the neo-Nazi regime occurring in the center of the conflict and some points of view that favor the United States. This will also allow the people to have all the possibilities, information, and context of the war in order to form an opinion and an act. Thank you.